MFL Total Access, back for another week. It was a rainy week.
It was a very short period of rain for a very... It rained for just a little bit, but really hard during that little bit.
It was intense.
Yeah. We got some good sun, though, during the day.
It's true. Yep.
If it wasn't for that 7th time slot that we don't normally have, we could have avoided most of the rain. And the bear was looking so beautiful early in the day. Had a bunch of close and good games.
Mm-hmm.
Some games that had huge importance for the standings across almost all the divisions.
It's that time of year almost, eh?
It's what?
It's almost that time of year.
Christmas?
Well, that too, but...
It's not almost Christmas.
No.
Do we get right to it, or any things you want to talk about? Any league announcements? Or
it was great to be...
all together?
Yep. Great to be back at Le Bear. What's happening this
As of now, we're all at... we're going to be at whatever the schedule says. So McGee and Terrier.
This is a coming week?
Yeah, for the rest of the season. Up until the playoffs.
And then
playoff time will be a mix of McGee and Le Bear. We'll all be at the same place each playoff day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And as a reminder, I recently posted on the MFL Players the days and times for each playoff round per division. So make sure that's shared with your teammates. That's not going to move. It's set in stone. And it ensures that there will be no conflict between any teams or anything like that.
Good stuff.
So let's start with this women's division because there were 2 huge games.
Yes.
2 primetime games.
Yeah, for real.
In this division. We'll start off with the Drama Queens and DS Drapeau. We said this was like the game of the week, right?
We did.
2 undefeated teams. DS Drapeau previously played against Tigres, who were both undefeated at that time. And we had dubbed that game as the game of the top 2 teams, right?
Right.
And we even said, like, oh, well, Drama Queens are probably going to say we're also undefeated, blah, blah, blah. But they hadn't really faced any, like, top-notch competition yet. Well, they did this week. And they shut out DS Drapeau, who we had them as number 1 in our power rankings, right?
Yeah.
Didn't look like the most exciting game. Only 12-0, right? Both quarterbacks throwing 2 picks in this game. We talked about the Elizabeths getting the interceptions, right?
Right.
Elizabeth Pellan on DS Drapeau getting 2. On the Drama Queen side, what stands out to me was Rochelle's 3 sacks in this game.
Huge.
And Roxanne, 10 for 31, 82 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Doesn't look super pretty though. Those stats don't look pretty, right?
No.
But she did get also a rushing touchdown and did what she had to do with the help of her defense to get the dub.
Well, that's the thing, right? Roxanne is going to be able to play quarterback, and you're right, quarterback is not just being able to throw the ball, it's also leading your team, right? Being that leader. She's a leader on offense, a leader on defense as well, like you just talked about. So that's huge for them. I saw, I think it was halftime of our game with Thunder Buddies, and then they finished the half and they saw how things going, and Kayla was super pumped because they were
they were yelling all kinds. It was so intense, this game.
Right, they were.
It was really intense.
And like you said, it maybe didn't look like it was a heavyweight matchup, but it did feel like it was. It's impressive. Like, obviously not the prettiest scoreline, but to hold a team, MFL's a long game, and even to hold the team scoreless for a few drives, even a half, is impressive. But
this team was averaging almost 30 points a game.
That's I wonder if it's if it was great defense, a bit of poor offense, or a mixture of both. But I'd say it's really impressive for Drama Queens in this game. I think I would have picked the Triple D to win this game if we did picks. But
did you see their jerseys right? Triple D.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like them. But no, honestly, impressive victory for them. And winning is one thing, but the way they won is remarkable.
And just to prove to us that Drama Queens are not false queens, they have an upcoming matchup against Tigres, the other heavyweight team of this division. So if they win that one, then it's their division to lose, right? At that point.
And Tigres on a bye this past week.
Yeah.
Right, so they had a little time to heal.
Yeah, and I got info. The quarterback that did get injured was their backup quarterback, not their main quarterback was not there that day, and that 2 girls going back and forth, and it was one of their other players who can also play quarterback that unfortunately got hurt in that game. Hoping she's doing well, and it's nothing as serious as it initially sounded or looked like.
Yeah.
And where do Triple D's go from here now?
Yeah, that's a good question because right now, look, the season so far has still been a pretty good success, right? They're sitting at 3-1. Got a game against Mockingjays coming up, which should be a victory, but you never know. I'm not sure. You got to overthink it too much, and you played against a good team. Defensively, you played well, right? Only giving up 12 points to John McQueen. So sometimes you kind of want to, after a game, you kind of want to like blow things up because it was a bad game. I don't think that necessarily has to be the case for them. Stick to what what works, and I really think if these teams play each other 10 times, it goes 5-5.
Yeah.
So
you say that confidently without having seen the game.
Yeah. No, it's two solid teams. Usually, two solid teams always split, right? Like it's not. You look at the rosters, and one isn't excessively better than the other one. So I don't think there needs to be too much. Maybe a little bit of tweaking for DS, but that's about it.
Yeah, interesting story. During the your respect game, while I was reffing that game, there were the two girls from DS Drapeau on the sideline. I don't know if you noticed. They had their juices are pretty. Their juices are really sick. Their juices are really sick. And then I had just seen the 12-0 score. And then I asked them, I thought they had watched the podcast, they know how much we give them praise. So my first question was like, yo, what happened with the offense today? I didn't introduce the part like, yo, you guys are really, really good first. I said, what happened with the offense? And then as talking to them, I realized that one of the two is Viviane Claude, who is, I got confirmation, Max and Jonathan's sister.
Oh, wow.
Play on KLB. We thought, we knew there was a good chance it was.
Right. We didn't know for.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh shit. So my first question was, what happened in the offense? I hope you didn't take it personal since you're the quarterback and you scored 0 points. But then they didn't even know we had the podcast. Now they do. Oh, wow. Okay. They let them know. Hopefully they let the rest of their roster know.
Right.
We're counting on you.
Yep.
That you share this info with the rest of your team. Because we've been talking about you. I told them, don't listen to this week's episode. Go back and listen to the first 3. We were praising you all kinds.
Right.
This week might be a little bit more iffy because you guys lost in 20 points. But they understood. So that's
cool. The family connection.
Yeah. Makes me think, how many other people don't know about our podcast? What could we do? Got to bring signs to the field and
tattoos and
ask Kevin to get another tattoo.
Oh gosh, no, it's
so the other game was the battle of winless teams, and I was tuning into this game and asking about the score, and I believe Mockingjays were leading almost throughout the game. Well, actually, no, Crazy Bees scored first, but then Mockingjays jumped to a 14-7 lead and held that lead up to 5 minutes remaining into the game. And then Crazy Bees scored twice in 3 minutes to steal the victory.
Man. Hey, what's the saying? It's not about how you start, how you finish. Clutch for Crazy Bees. To score, like you said, to score 7 points the first with a 95% of the game, and then to clutch up and get 2 touchdowns late. That's a tough pill to swallow if you're Mockingjays. But credit Crazy Bees for mentally, it's not always easy to stay in a game when you're down from start to finish. Well, like you said, they scored the first touchdown of this game, but gave up the lead afterwards and stayed cool, calm, and collected, which is good. And for them, look, everyone makes the playoffs, but both teams obviously wanted to win here to start their.
A lot of positive in this game for Mockingjays. I think they've been getting really a lot better every single game. Like in this game, I think they finally found their quarterback. Rita completing 14 passes for over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, has to clean up those 3 interceptions. But when you compare to the Crazy Bee stats, they had 2 different quarterbacks completing a total of 8 passes, right? So you did something well enough to be able to win games eventually. The ball distribution was pretty decent. And even on the defensive side of the ball, Sandrine with 2 sacks. You had Marjolaine getting another pick in this game. She's on 3 on the season through 4 games. Daniela Gomez was the late addition for Crazy Bees with 2 picks of her own on her side of the ball. Yeah. Anne-Marie Côté getting an interception.
Ballhawks. A lot of interceptions. It's
Is it bad quarterback play or great defensive play?
Maybe a little bit of both. Yeah, I guess you have some quarterbacks that haven't maybe necessarily played before or played with certain players. So probably expect that the first few weeks, even middle part of the season. But no, so even I'm not a perfectly thrown ball is not always going to get picked, right? So you got to give credit to the defenders.
Hey, what was my bold prediction last week? Do you remember?
I was thinking about what
we both did a women's division. Well. I think I had something about the Mockingjays Crazy Bees game having more touchdowns than the other one or something like that. Because remember we had the heavyweight matchup and the lightweight matchup.
I think I said there was going to be 80 combined points.
We'll look at it after.
Okay.
So I have a tough one for you. Mockingjays still sitting winless right now, right? At 0-5, but getting better every single game. They have a doubleheader next week. Diaz Drapeau, Crazy Bees. Over under half a win.
No, I think they're gonna beat Crazy Bees in the.
So they get their first win next week.
I think so.
Is it gonna happen? Are they gonna dominate that game, or is it gonna be the opposite? Crazy Bees will be leading, and the Mockingjay are gonna steal it at the end.
I could see it being a very similar game to the one that just happened. I'm gonna go. We don't really give our score predictions anymore. I'm gonna go 14-13. Mockingjays their first victory.
I'm gonna go 19-14 Mockingjays.
Okay.
The exact score that they lost by. Let's go to Division 5.
D5.
We had a no-show. I don't want to put too much attention on this team because they don't deserve any right now. Back-to-back forfeits for this team, and you got to do better. Should I say that? Got to do better. Let us know at least.
Yeah, it's there's not playing is sucks, but you have to verify everybody.
Yeah.
I think that's the least you can do.
Did you catch any D5 games? We'll start with those.
So D5, I did. No, I did not.
Okay, so there were 4 games.
Yeah.
But what were you?
I did see a bit of. Sorry, not catch it. But maybe like one play of Bin or Binet, sorry, and Suni's 45.
Okay, so let's talk about that one play.
The game. No, I saw the kind of ending, but it seemed to be pretty intense.
Yeah.
That's what I gathered from that game.
So look, Suni's 45 have. Let me not say n'importe quoi and look at it. They've utilized 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different quarterbacks through 5 games, I believe. How many games have they played? Where's Division 5 standings? Let me get it right over here. So yeah, through 5 games, they've used 5 different quarterbacks. They usually go 2 to 3 quarterbacks per game. At the beginning of the season, I think it was getting split more. Like you knew who the 2 quarterbacks was the same too often. Mm-hmm. But now I'm seeing like different names, new names, and like you can't really pinpoint any who have been like maybe like distanced themselves from the pack. But I think that's also the case because they've been rotating so much. Yeah. Right? Like Diego's a quarterback himself, the captain, GM, and everything in this team, right? Mm-hmm. He should know best that like if he'd be getting pulled out of the game every like play or second play or half, it's not going to help him develop. And Division 5 is a great division for developing new quarterbacks. So, like, you're a new quarterback, you enjoy the game of flag football, you want to start out. What division were you going to play in Division 5? And who else better than a quarterback, like an extraordinary quarterback like Diego, to mentor you and be there to teach you to teach you the ropes, right?
For sure. So
I know quarterback could be a fun position or like a horrible position depending on
the result.
the result. But it's really, really hard when you're not getting reps. Like look, in this game, the 3 quarterbacks had 10, 7, and 11 attempts. That's 38 attempts, okay? Total. But when you're only attempting 10 or like fewer passes a game, it's not going to help you get better. Like there's some games your first 2 drives are about that many attempts and you just like shot to bed. And then it takes like the 3rd drive to get kicking and then you start get going, right? So yeah, I strongly suggest they maybe stick to 1, maximum 2 going forward. And like, it's maybe clear, okay, you're going to do first half, you're going to do second half. Because the hardest part about a quarterback, you hear all the time when you have guys that quarterback and don't quarterback on multiple teams, they always say, when I'm not quarterback, it's so much fun. I just go to the game and show up and I don't care. I don't need to think about anything. Like, when you're quarterbacking, you have to stress about, okay, what plays do I call? Is this defense play man often? Do they play zone often? Mm-hmm. Which players do I not throw their way? Like, you have so many things to think about. And, like, even though it's a team sport, it's an ultimate team sport, the pressure is so much more on the quarterback. And, like, if you lose, you very easily point the finger at the quarterback. If you win, you give the respect to the whole team. It's not, we won just because of the quarterback. But you always hear, we lost just because of the quarterback. Right. So it's like a very difficult position to manage, like, mentally. Mm-hmm. So you don't need that extra stress of, like, not knowing when you're going in and all that. So, I think 2 cents on that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think it's the most important position in all sports, really, when you think about it. The quarterback position, like I said about... like just in the women's division earlier about Roxanne, it's not just about throwing the ball out you're running, it's about being a leader on the team, a vocal leader, a leader by example. And I think that I'm not sure the rationale behind I should say the split quarterbacks, doing one per half. I would stick to one QB, not even per half. I would stick to one quarterback for the game, and then you realize if that quarterback is not performing up to expectations, then after that you could adjust, because it's tough for, I know you think it's tough for quarterbacks. It is. But it's tough for receivers too, right? You also have to adjust the plays are different. Maybe the way one quarterback likes a route ran, it's going to be different from the other quarterback. So it's tough. Look, if you see sometimes in college the double quarterback, it doesn't really seem all that successful. So I'd stick to one QB, because this team is they're good enough to make a run this season.
To compete, for sure.
Yeah. So I'd stick to one and see how that goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I caught a bit of the Secret Agents Jungle Squad game. Secret Agents winning this one 24-19. It seemed to be a bit close enough back and forth game. Want to shout out our boy Jeff Laurence, who completely took over this game on his own. 2 touchdowns on 5 receptions, 94 yards.
Wow.
He also had 3 picks on defense. Really that ball hawking safety back there. They had Ian quarterbacking this game instead of JF. He seemed to be playing well for the parts that I saw in his stats, doing justice. 4 touchdowns to 1 interception. That should be enough to win you the game. I spoke with Jungle Squad during and after the game. They actually wrote to me, get some tips. The message went in my junk, and I never found it. Even after that, it was hard to find. But I gave them the usual plays we usually run. And hopefully it'll help them. They have a pretty talented team, and they're pretty good. They're just missing a little bit of something, right? They lost this game by 5 points, right? Mm-hmm. And they're doing a lot of good. Remember, this team went on that crazy run at the end of last season, right?
Yeah. Because what's their record on the
year right now? They're sitting on 1-4.
Yeah, that's tough. And 1-4 halfway through the year, to make the playoffs in this div, you kind of got to be at least at 3 wins, if not 4 should get you in. But yeah, I caught a bit of Jungle Squad's game. It was a while back, and I think you said it perfectly. It's just they're there, but it's maybe just 1 or 2 plays on key moments that they're missing out on. Look,
Jerome threw 3 picks to Ian's 1. If he just throws 1 fewer interception that game, they probably win it, right? That 1 extra possession that doesn't go the other way, it's just that. And sometimes the ball slips out of your hands. They're close. They're really, really close.
It really is a game of inches, right? Not even in terms of yards, but just a tip here, a tip there. But we know with them, their energy is always good. Mm-hmm. So if any teams could come back, like we talked about last season, down from a bit of a hole, it could be them.
Yeah. Do you go to Division 4?
Let's go.
So in Division 4, I actually ref Bearhood against a free agent D4 team.
Mm-hmm.
So look, Bearhood's really strong. They have 2 really strong players, in Antoine and Steve, but the whole team's really good. Even on defense, they have Jonathan Cloutier, who's a Jagerbomb player.
Right.
He had 4 picks in this game.
I saw 2 of them.
Yeah. It's tough. This team, I felt that the way they played, yes, the score does do it justice. But they were so close on so many occasions to get a big play here, a big play there, and those interceptions. Mike knows better than to not throw those balls, right? If he doesn't throw 6 picks in this game, obviously the score is different. He missed Andre a few times, streaking through the field completely wide open. Okay. Overthrew him or underthrew him a few times, prior to going 4 and out or throwing a pick. So let's say the game's 1-2 possession game, you get that deep 45 bomb. It changes the game, right? And I kept telling him, it's so close. I don't know if it's a timing thing. I don't know if it's I don't know what it was, but Andre was open. Mike has a good arm. It was just sometimes he no-looked it. Opportunities were there for them to make plays.
Right.
It's not as if Bearhood completely shut them down, did not make anything, and most of the picks were kind of Mike knew not to make that throw kind of thing, Right. It was not a contested ball. It was he threw it to a wide open defender kind of thing,
Well, that's I wouldn't say all that reassuring, but it's reassuring in the sense that you could
yeah.
Right, exactly, right. You kind of shot yourself in the foot in that game. Maybe it's you're playing a team a team that's obviously one of the best in the division in Bearhood, it could be, I don't want to say nervous, but someone's coming in and trying a little bit too hard, right? Like you have to make the perfect play, you have to make the perfect read, and yeah, I saw one of the picks by Kluche. I saw he seemed to be kind of the only guy there, and he did a good job tracking it down. But look, we know this Bearhood squad is going to be in contention to win it all, obviously. And for free agents, they obviously got a couple of good players, and Mike's a great leader. Yeah, when I saw him throw 6 picks, I was super surprised, right? Because it's typical. Like he does. I admire that he likes to kind of stretch the field. He goes deep.
Yeah.
We don't
Gunslinger
always,
Mike.
Yeah, right. We don't always see that from guys in Div 4, but I think this game maybe the idea of trying a little bit too hard when you're playing a solid squad.
I do want to shout out Gary McMahon made a sick pick 6 on the opening play of the second half.
Nice.
To give the free team some life.
Okay,
and Antoine Bussard made 2 catches on his touchdowns that were absolutely incredible. Like a real baller, like stud catches. Like
damn. Play of the week.
Yeah. I did not see the Phoenix Improbable game except for the last play of the game. Did you catch that?
Nothing.
Okay, so on the last play of the game, we had Mathieu's son come in the game, Jacob.
Okay, sorry, I did catch the last play of the game.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't realize that was the last play of the game.
Yeah, scoring a 45 bomb in his MFL debut. Youngest MFL player in the youngest player in the history of the MFL to score a touchdown. He broke a few records. Youngest player for a touchdown over 40 yards. Youngest player for a touchdown over 30 yards.
A touchdown period.
Yeah. He's in the he might be in the MFL Hall of Fame if he continues at this pace.
I was gonna say he was making guys miss.
Oh yeah, and guys missed, got up, came back, jumped again, and still missed a second time.
Yeah.
He got Kevin a few times, pretty good.
Yeah, Kevin looked silly on that run.
Yeah, good for the little
That was
guy.
cool. Yeah, it was like what's all the commotion? I looked over and then and I saw our buddy scoring a touchdown.
Did you see Sour Peeps and Montreal Cessnas?
I ref that game.
Oh, good. Let's talk about it.
Yes, I ref that game. This was the Cessnas started off.
They were up 18-6.
Yeah.
With 3 minutes to go in the half.
Big comeback by Sarpis, but hopefully Emil's okay.
Oh yeah.
Because it was I didn't fully see I had somebody in my way, but he made a great play trying to make a tackle. He fell on his shoulder. We didn't even see the.
I don't think that was coming. I saw one of the guys come with his car on the field to pick him up.
Really,
Yeah. I believe it was Benjamin. He came to pick him up with his car.
But good job by Chrissy. She was on it right away. She made the phone call. But yeah, so hopefully, thinking about him, hopefully he's okay and recovering. But yeah, Cessnas in this game were up. Jess looked really good. There was. I did kind of feel for him because there were, even despite their lead, there was quite a few jobs for them, and it was tough. It was when you can play quarterback and guys are dropping balls, it's tough because you feel there's not really much more you can do. But then in this second half, Sour Peeps were just a completely different squad. Jocelyn, look at his stats in this game. He went 21. I knew he had a good game, but I didn't realize he played.
2
incompletions.
That's nuts.
6 TDs, 214 yards, 21 of 23. And it's cool because I think everyone made a play in this game for Sour Peeps. It really was one of those team efforts.
Ball distribution looks great. Maybe
it was
Simon getting a few more passes.
I think it was just the idea of making adjustments. The Cessnas dropping a few balls, which didn't help them. But after this game, you could we already knew, but you can tell Sour Peeps are one of the more dominant teams in this division, and this offense is.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised if they put up 35 plus for the rest of the year.
But Cessnas were up 2 possessions with 3 minutes to go, with a minute to go in the first half. So with 23 minutes left to play, they were up 2 scores. Can you see Cessnas competing with them?
Yeah, I could, but I was
10 games. What's the win loss?
I'll go 7-3, 8-2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are Sour Peeps too good for Division 4?
I mean, I think they're one of the, if not the favorites, but I think them and Bearhood, if they can meet in the.
They can meet in the finals.
That would both one team is not excessively better than the other. So yeah, I don't think I'd say they're too good for the division.
Because Sour Peeps have competed in Division 3 or still not there yet? Maybe in the fall.
I think they could have squeezed potentially squeezed into the playoffs.
In Division 3?
Yeah, maybe like a 3-7.
You really think so?
4-6. They're good.
We had like a few tough games in Division 3.
No, I know we did, but like this is a team that's like you look at our team for example. We've got a few guys that haven't played together, right? But like this is a team that like it's as if they've been playing together for years. They know what to do, when to do it.
They asked to go in Division 5 this season before the season started.
It's a good call to be in Div 4.
Yeah. You see any other Division 4 games?
I did not. Tough day for Improbable, though, going 0 for 2.
Yeah. Look, a big win by Tropic Thunder against Action Squad. CIA Fusion going 2-0 this past weekend. That's something they don't normally do.
And putting up points, right? Putting up 30, 39, and then 25.
Yeah. 39 against the Bandits, and then 25 against Les Improbables. Jason having 2 good games there. Barber scoring a touchdown. Let's go.
Yep.
Oof, Boucher beat up on 28-3. So you didn't see any other different 4 games?
No, I didn't catch it, but yeah, I was surprised about that 28-23. Are you surprised that they're struggling as much as they are?
Look, a little bit, yeah. Like I'm not surprised that. Well, what's the record? Yeah, I'm surprised the record as well. Like through 6 games, I was expecting at least 2-4, maybe even 3-3. Right? Like this team has enough experience and has played with enough good players, good quarterbacks to be able to be closer in games as well. Right? Because like 90 points through 6 games and 170 against, not gonna cut it, right?
Yeah.
It's
I'm not sure. Maybe it's obviously the competition in Montreal is a bit different than that in Brossard, but it's right. It's Div 4. Like there's still these are.
But you'd say Div 4 is pretty equivalent to Brossard Div 2, right?
Right. That's what I was gonna say. I don't think it's a huge jump for them. But yeah, they're gonna have to pick it up.
So look at the standings now.
Yeah.
In each of the 2 conferences, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 teams with either 1 or 0 losses in the Babylon's conference.
Yeah.
Who do you see pulling away with it and winning this conference? If you have to give me your pick right now.
It's close between 1 and 2 right now, but I'm gonna go with Sour Peeps.
Sour Peeps?
Yeah.
Who was your 2?
Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not Saint-Genie?
That's my close 3. I
think they're like a dark horse in this race. Like I don't think we talked about them enough.
I think you said it's a dark horse, right? It's not like you think about this conference and like they're the team that pops out right away.
It's only because they're a new team, probably, right?
True.
Okay, and then looking at that red line in the standings when you click on playoffs.
Yeah.
You see Les Bouchers and the Les Vilains clearly sitting at 2 and 3, holding those last 2 spots, and then you have 4 teams with 1 win, either a game or a game and a half behind. Which of those 4 teams could you see making the most noise and squeezing to the playoffs in the second half of the season?
I'm like maybe it's just because I picked Sour Peeps because I just ref them, and I'm gonna go with the team they just played. And that's the Montreal Cessnas. It's a good team, well organized. They have some studs, some 2-way studs, and unfortunately, I just think it's been a battle of miscues here and there. Like that's what it was last game, and like we talked about, they were up, right? They were up 18-6 in that game. I think that they're 1-5 right now. Let's say they finish the year at 3-7. And then it's going to come down to a bunch of tie breaks. Let's say they finish. Oh boy, yeah.
Well, it's not going to come down to that many tie breaks because everyone plays against each other once.
True.
That's
true.
the beauty of this.
That's a good point. But no, if I had to pick one team right now, I'd pick them. I even though they lost, I think their loss was kind of encouraging.
Yeah, I appreciate you picking one team, and I'm gonna give a boring answer. And let me know if you disagree. Don't judge my answer because I know my answer is boring. But would you agree if I'd say that all 4 of these teams still have a legitimate chance of making the playoffs?
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at these 4 teams, and they all should have more than one win through at least 5 games. And that red line is not that far to gain, right? Only one additional win as opposed to what they have right now, right? And in a few circumstances, a few cases, they're going to play against those teams that are right ahead of them. So I truly believe that all 4 of those teams will have a shot making the playoffs.
Even if you just look at the in terms of like the actual standings, from 11 to 7, it's only 1.5 games, right?
From 11 to 6, no?
It's true, yeah. If you include 6, it's true. It's 1.5 games. It's it's not a great position to be in with 4 games remaining there. But it's if you win 2 games in a row, everything changes.
And now looking at that almighty power conference, if I ask you the same questions, who do you have winning that division? Okay, I'll answer it first. If I give you Bearhood or the Field to win that division, are you taking Bearhood or the Field?
I'm taking Bearhood.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't think Hawks Action Squad, Drama Club only with 1 loss?
That's true.
At this point.
And look, you can't get out those Mustard Tigers either, right?
Yeah.
Sitting at in 6 at 3-3. But no, right now I'm going with Bearhood. Yeah.
It's looking like this conference might take more victories to make the playoffs because you have 2 teams with 2 wins sitting outside looking in right now with the Warriors and the KC Chiefs. You would think both these teams are playoff teams at this point, right? But that just goes to show how big that Tropic Thunder win was against Action Squad this past. Action only had 1 loss, sitting at 4-1. This Action Squad team that was hesitating to go in Division 4, already with 4 wins through 6 games. And you got Legendaries who had a close one this past weekend against Hermosa Crew. Couldn't pull it off. And that free agent team that has a win as well, right? So even in the power conference, so far 2 wins would put you in a tie-breaking scenario to be in. 3 guarantees it. And I think everyone's still like well and alive here.
And you look at like 8, 9, 10, 11. Again, from 11 to 7, it's the 1.5 games. Like 1.5 games doesn't seem like much, but with only a few games, 5 or 4 games left, it is a bit of a hole to climb. But I think the rosters from 8 to 11 right now are built to be able to come back. Like if you ask me right now, if the 7 teams that are in the playoffs right now will stay, I'd say probably not. I don't know who falls out, who falls in. Yeah. I'm not sure, but generally it doesn't. From now into all the way into the last week, things got to be. Things are too tight now for it not to be.
Lots of football left to play.
Yeah.
After those tough questions, let's go to Division 3.
Yeah, let's go.
Soonies playing the Bins. Soonies played the Binet, and then Sooners played the Bins. Matchup of 2 heavyweights in Division 3. Literally all the Division 3 teams are good. Like there's no good teams. It's crazy. You look at like the schedule and the teams you're playing against. There's no like easy gimme game there. Did you see any of the Sooners Bin game? I think that's the one that you referred to when you said it sounded intense.
Oh, could have been. That could have been that one, eh? So potentially it was that, but I only saw the after.
Both quarterbacks combined for a whopping 108 yards in this one. Yeah, Diego threw for 64 and JF threw for 44. The leading receivers on each team had 25 and 17 yards respectively. Not a lot of air game in this one, eh?
No, I'm trying to think. It wasn't at that time.
It wasn't raining, no.
Okay, yeah.
Or maybe it was, and we have bad memories. I don't think it was.
No, I didn't. I don't think it... Nope, it was at the same time... Oh, was it the same time as Villains and I'm not sure, but no, I don't think it was...
the rushers came out to play, right? Bobby with 2 sacks on his side, and then you had Julien Bertrand with 4 and Albert Nguyen with 1. So you had 7 total sacks in this game.
That's your favorite position, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well, look, it's Ben's first loss, right? I mean, only scoring 6 points is tough. Mm-hmm. When an undefeated team only scores 6 points, it raises a few questions. The biggest winners in this week are Tigres, who didn't play and now sit at top of the standings after their bye week, right? Imagine going to the bye, you're sitting second or third, you come out of the bye, you're in first place.
Good call.
Feels nice, eh?
Didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, didn't even pull a sweat. Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried. I really think like any team could beat any team in this division. It's really going to come down to like each individual game and who wins those tight games at the end, right? Like I truly believe if Ben play Sooners 10 times, it's going to go 5-5, right? Yeah.
I think that, and you think like it'd be higher scoring, like an over-under in this game, I probably would have put it at like 52.5.
Well, Ben don't have like the most high-firing offense, right?
Yeah.
They're only averaging 23 points a game, so even before this game, they were averaging around 25, I'd say. A little over 25.
Yeah. That's true. I think sometimes their defense is good enough to put their offense in short fields.
Yeah. So John wasn't there for the John-Kevin battle. You had Andrew subbing in at the quarterback. And you can't really do much as a quarterback when your defense gives up 39 points, right?
It's tough. Gotta score.
Kevin having himself a game. He'll probably talk about him and himself in his article. So I won't go over it too thoroughly. But, yeah.
Still, Andrew's we talked about like off air. Andrew, athletic player, actually throws a pretty good ball. Maybe I would have given Phoenix the edge just because John was missing, but still a little bit surprised to see Phoenix win this game by
20 points.
Yeah, doubled them up.
What really surprised me and what has been surprising me is damn raw sauce. What's going on? You guys gotta get a new mixed sauce in there and fix things up because this is, I think, one of our preseason like top 3 teams, right? Like this is a team. I spoke to Gab Boucher during the D1 his Bush Boys game, and I'm like, as if you guys having like a championship hangover, but you guys didn't win the championship. You lost in the finals, right? Like,
yeah. But that's what this team kind of does, right? They have stinkers, and then they have a game where they put up a bunch.
They haven't had that game really. They had one good game against Phoenix this season,
right? Like what I'm saying is, they're. I mean, it's similar to what we always talk about, but they're good enough to run the table from here on out.
Yeah, but that table's getting smaller and smaller every week, right?
Very true. And if they're playing the way they are, then they'll be lucky to get another win.
I remember last year Ludovic was on pace for close to 50 touchdown passes, right? Ending the season with 45 in 9 games, I believe, and he only threw 8 picks throughout the 10-game season. This year he already has 14 through 6 games, almost double what he had last year, just past midway point, and he's not on pace to match those touchdown numbers. Like if he's throwing more picks but throwing a lot more touchdowns, I'd be like, okay, something's there, but now it's like it's not there, right? So maybe go back to basics. I know he's missing Antoine, who's his go-to receiver, one of his bread and butter type guy, right? And maybe just go back to the original playbook, right? Where you run those simple plays, boring offense, and just get the job done, right? It's not only him, though, because the defense did give up 45, right? So,
right.
Yeah, he did throw 4 picks. Maybe that didn't help the defense. But in a game like this, you're not going to win if you only score 13. You're not going to win if you give up 45. I think I just spoke about Ludovic a lot, but it's like a whole team effort.
Football.
And that defense is tough to throw against. Like, we played them a few times last season with Villains. We're going to play them this season, I believe. Mm-hmm. And they're really a tough defense to throw against, right? So I don't know what's going on. I need answers. I want to see some W's.
Do you think it's like, I think if you look at the divisions 1 through 5, because obviously we didn't have this the first year of having women's, I think this is the division that got that improved the most in terms of skill. Maybe that's what it is.
But they were one of the top teams. Like, they were a borderline Division 2 team before the season, looking at the roster and the ratings and all that, right? Like, they were really up there, up against the cap, right? So, yeah, I agree with you. Division 3 got stronger than last year. Mm-hmm. But this is a team that was part of the strongest teams, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So they should at least be average.
Yeah. They should still be better than average. They should be a top 3-4 team.
And no way of putting it nicely, but they're garbage right now.
Yeah. That's true.
I didn't see much of the Dueland's Red Cats game, but big win for Villains. High scoring affair, 47-40. That's an exciting game. Did you see it?
No, but I have to say, one of the crazier stat lines in the week. If you look at me right in my eyes and you don't look at the stats,
okay.
Did you check this any of the stats in this game?
No.
Okay, Jason completed 15 passes. Okay, guess the total yards.
Oh yeah, I saw it was like 300.
He had 304 yards.
I saw. He averaged 20 yards completion.
Like,
like go big or go home, right? Like,
that's crazy.
There ain't no dinking and dunking with Jason.
For real.
Yeah, I do have to say, oh my god, I saw Alex Laroche. Hope he's listening. I want to tell him in person. Rush in this game and in his improbable game against CIE Fusion. And it was I believe I was on Convert when there was like a double quarterback and he had to drop and he was sent as a second rusher. I'm not sure if it was that. But in both games, he was rushing not the actual quarterback. In this game, I saw him rush Jeremy. And in the other game, I saw him rush Alex Zapliski. Okay? And in both games, I believe he got one of the two times he got the sack. And the other one, I was at the opposite side of the field. He was yelling it was a sack and it looked awfully close to being a sack. But he got it like literally the same time as the quarterback was throwing it up. But that was the most impressive was how he contained both of those two guys.
Really?
Yes. I got to ask him for tips as a rusher. Because containing Alex and Jeremy is like no easy task, right?
Because so it was double quarterback.
Like second quarterback drops back. Alex went on the second quarterback and he contained like literally both of them. And he put pressure and he made them throw like on their back foot. And I was like, what the hell, man? Like it was really impressive.
That's crazy.
We know he's a great football mind.
I was just going to say.
He can literally play any position.
Right.
But I didn't think he could excel that much at the rush position against those two guys.
Yeah. like arguably the two most quick and shifty
guys
in the entire...
Like that was like... I forgot to talk to him about it after, but yeah. That was impressive.
Good stuff. Good call.
Yeah.
But like, I've been impressed with how Red Cats have been putting it. Like, Jason's stat line may not be pretty. Most of his balls are going to the dirt, right? He's because it's like 15 of 37.
Yeah. It's either a 30-yard completion or a ball that ended up on the other field.
But like they're scoring 32 points a game.
Yeah, it's working.
Oh man, I wish I saw some of that game.
Let's talk about our game, and the first thing that stood out to me is I don't get how Super Friends are winless. But then I try to think about it, and I think it's the roster inconsistencies that they've been having so far. A lot of missing pieces, a lot of guys that are in out the roster, a couple of subs. Their subs were great this past weekend for them, but it's always hard to get that. Like we started this year. This is our first win. We had 4 new guys on the team this year, 2 new to the league. It takes a lot of time, a lot more. Even if guys have football experience, when you're playing Div 3 and up, like it takes a lot of time to gel. Offensively with the quarterback, defensively with the play caller, being in the positions, all that. The MFL field, 6-on-6 on a 25-yard width field is very particular to us. And it takes time. It's like, I don't know if that's the answer, but it's the only thing I could think of, right?
Like the rosters are... consistency in flag is huge, right? It's not like you're we're playing like 12-on-12, right? It's 6-on-6, and if you have different let alone players but quarterbacks too, right? Playing in different games, that's tough. And yeah, like at halftime it was tied, defensively, I mean at halftime, remember I told you, I said like we got to figure out how to
stop them.
How to get a stop, because they were on pace to put up 36 at that time. I'm not sure what it is either. Because like defense, you had a great game obviously, but like there wasn't many like breakdowns in coverage, right? Like I don't think we never really had a touchdown where we had a guy wide open, or missed tackles and stuff like that. I think credit to they played against. Not just because it's you, but you had a very best game of the season by far. No, you had a really good game. You read the field very well and threw some good balls. So maybe it's like I said, the competition.
Yeah. And what else? One other thing that stood out to me is that when Blue Badgers come back with Olivier Wattier and Jeremy Desrochers, you saw those 2 subs are from Blue Badgers, right?
Right.
They ain't playing Div 5 again.
Div 5.
Well, they've only been playing Div 5
and
had great seasons. I think they finished top of the standings. Always have that tough out in the playoffs. But Olivier Wattier is a tremendous quarterback, right? Like he held his own in Division 3 here. against a pretty good Thunderbuddies defense, right? And Jeremy Desrochers balled out in this game on both sides of the ball. Olivier's definitely shifty.
It's great. Like it's weird because he didn't look all that quick, but like he was making rushers miss and getting to the outside.
Yeah. So when they come back this fall, aim for Division 4, especially with the new beginner Division 5 that we have now. That they would have like destroyed everybody.
Yeah.
So looking at the Division 3 standings now, you have us, Red Cats, Iron Wolves, Rostov, Super Friends, all sitting on the outside of a playoff spot, right? That's crazy.
It is.
Looking at the upcoming games now, we're playing TDs and Beers. Oh, we have a doubleheader. TDs and Beers and Phoenix. The two teams will hold the last two playoff spots, sitting at the 7th and 8th position. Wow.
So huge games for us. Period. I always forget. Does this include the tiebreakers?
Potentially no.
Okay.
Assume it doesn't. What are the big games? You got Tigres playing against TDs and Beers. So TDs and Beers got two big games as well. Sooners 45 against La. That's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Battle of the two top teams there. It's going to be an interesting week 7 in the MFL for Division 3 for sure.
That's going to be a big shakeup.
Division 2?
Let's go.
Oh, what a game! Respect and KOB, eh? The only game of the week for Div 2. It did not disappoint. Back and forth game, and I think I heard Jonathan saying after the game when he plays against Steve, it's always a close back and forth game like that. Both quarterbacks going bananas. Steve 27 of 39, 346, 8 touchdowns, 0 picks. Jonathan 27 of 38, 320, 7 touchdowns. That one pick on like the last play of the game essentially for them.
Mm-hmm.
Great ball distribution by both quarterbacks. Looking like a bunch of receivers balled out in this game. Adam getting 3 sacks. His one safety was huge in that game.
Play the game.
I wish this game had a part 2 to it, going on forever, right?
Well, maybe I'm sure we play each other again, but the Div 2 had a lot
next week. Part 2 next week.
There you go. Div 2 has a lot of high scoring games, and the first time we played them, I think it was a very similar score to that as well. It's like you said perfectly. This is just a fun game. 2 Div 1 quarterbacks really. I mean, Plough, he must have thrown in Div.
Yeah, Kilby were in Div. Had a stint in Div 1.
It'd be cool. I'd like to see him. Toss in Div 1 permanently eventually if they could swing that. But a good game, like you said. Wasn't much defense. I'd say obviously players of the game you give to both QBs, but for a play in this game or player defense, you got to give it to Adam, like you said. That safety not only got us the.
It was on 4th down as well, right?
Was it 4th? Well, we ended up scoring. I mean, look, not only did it get us the.
It was on 4th and long because he got a sack on 2nd down. So it was 4th and about 13.
Yeah, he was huge. He had and Plough is not an easy guy to rush.
No. So coming up in Division 2, we got that Respect KLB rematch. But before that, KLB are going to be playing against Secure Top Shooters. And then you got Respect playing against Pocket Rockets before their KLB rematch. So went from 1 to 3 games. Going to be a bunch of interesting ones for the standings. As a reminder, the last regular season game in Division 2, do you know what's going on?
Playing.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. The 1 seed will play against the 2 seed for a trip to the finals. The 3 seed will play against the 4 seed for a ticket in the playoffs. So number 3 plays against number 4 in the last regular season game. The loser does not make the playoffs. The winner of that game plays against the loser of 1 and 2.
Got you.
You got it?
And then the winner of 1 and 2 chip.
Yeah.
Got you.
So finishing 1 and 2 gives you, after through 9 games, gives you a ticket to the playoffs. Like if
Right.
you're the 1 and 2 seed after the 9 first games, that last game is to know if you're playing a semifinal game or a championship game first.
That's huge. And look, I think it's a good way because you can see all 4 teams. Well, like all, like how are you gonna make it work? Is do 1, 4,
It's kind
2,
of exciting for a 4 team division.
I think it's given with what we have, it's probably the only thing you could do to make it exciting.
Yeah. Division 1?
You won.
So Arnold's Master Chiefs, unfortunately, Vinny was not there, and he just shows how important he is to this team, right? That being said, I was shocked for the 49 points against. Like, this Master Chiefs team has ballers across the field on defense, right? Like, we did say that they're much more of an offensive-driven team last week, but to give up 49 points, like, with Sean, Avery, Jeremy, Victor, Ashton, and Eli on this defense, like, it's flat-out embarrassing, right? Like, this game should have been closer even with Vinny's absence.
It was they were in. It's tough because they were getting frustrated between one another, and like you understand that. I don't know what it was. I think because you got athletes on this team, right?
Yeah.
You got athletes, and
Well, you could say you didn't have much trouble throwing against them, or
I mean, when they played, I mean, what looked like man defense a little bit more, like that's when it gave me the most on our offense the most trouble. Because they have athletes. Maybe it's zone. I don't know if guys weren't respecting their positions, their assignments, their areas. But it's like you said too. Yes, you don't have your quarterback, but you for sure expect a better outputting. And like for Eli, you're doing your best. Right? This is Div 1. Never quarterbacked fully in Div 1 for full season, or even Div 2 for a full season.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Our boy Mace, Des Bryant balling out in this one at 3 touchdowns, red zone threat.
Right.
I want to see him throw up the X after one of his touchdowns. Chris, 8 catches, 84 yards. You guys were just 6 in this game, right? Jonathan in this game, 2 sacks, 7 catches, 30 yards, 2 touchdowns. Balling out on both sides of the ball. You had 3 picks on the defensive side as well as your 6 touchdowns on offense, over 230 yards. This is a great Arnold's team win, right? And I think that's when you guys are at your best. When you guys are just 6 players, almost going to be 5.
5.5.
And rally on each other, right?
That's the Iron Wolf. Like that's kind of how we've made out since
not by choice, really.
No, not really by choice. But yeah, since we joined this the squad, and it was a fun game. It was, and the thing is, we will talk about our game afterwards, the tough loss against Outlaws. But our energy is good. I think either way. So I think that's what kind of keeps us afloat.
Yeah, and I was sure you guys had that game against the Outlaws, kind of back and forth game. But I think you guys took when you guys scored there at the end of the first half. Kind of taking the lead there, 20-14. Outlaws started with the ball. I believe they did not score on their opening drive.
They didn't score.
So then you guys had a chance to go up 2 scores at that point. You couldn't make it happen. Not you, like your team couldn't make it happen either. And then back and forth in the second half. Overtime game. We love MFL overtime. Ain't no game ending in a tie here.
No.
Yeah.
It was fun. We'll look at the signings. It was a tough loss for us, right? Because it was a game that Iron Wolves needed more. When you only have, the difference between 4 and 3 teams making the playoffs is huge. So a win we needed a little bit more. But
look, it's fun because if it was 4 teams in the playoffs, that loss you wouldn't have cared. Not that you wouldn't have cared, but they wouldn't have put as much pressure on you for the rest of the season.
Right. Yeah, so a big loss, a big win for you guys. And talking about the game itself, like the defenses played well, right? 27-26 in Div 1 is not really that high scoring. Obviously, Dado didn't play in this game. It was Brady throwing, and credit to you guys, right? Because we had the ball and the lead in the second half, but I didn't really sense any panic from you guys.
Yeah, you guys had the ball with almost a minute, just over a minute, a tie game, and Max made that clutch interception.
Yeah, that was
that was huge. And then that last Division 1 game, 18 Bush Boys. We both, I ref that game. You were there sitting in the rain, waiting before going to get your McDonald's, watching that game. Like, I literally asked myself this many times in the game. Who's the better team? Like, it was really tough. Like, and then I kept going back and forth, and I kept telling myself, okay, it's really close. Like, if they play 10 games, I'm convinced they split 5-5, right? Like, Bush Boys had that big lead going into halftime to 20-6. Looked like A-Team was out of it. They rally early in the second half, coming back and taking the lead 28. Took the lead 28-26 late in the game, and then Bush Boys just clutched up and scored.
Because they had momentum, right? Bush Boys did a good heading into half, and A-Team. Credit to them for sticking in, and I didn't think they were going to come back in this game to even tie, but they ended up taking the lead.
Yeah.
And then Bush Boys went on an impressive. I think it was a fairly long drive to score a touchdown there. And man, coming down to that the very last play, I gotta look. It's at the end of the day, it was still a loss by Dave and A-Team, but I was impressed with how they marched. They marched down the field with so little time. Like, they really seemed to use as much
unfazed at all.
Right, exactly. Yeah, as much clock and as much yardage as they could. But yeah, it's.
What did Dylan say at the end of the game after Dave threw it
to the rook? Threw it to the rookie.
Throwing his guy in.
It was look. It seemed the play seemed to be there.
Yeah, I think Dave just missed him on the pass. Like, he looked open to me.
Yeah,
it looked like it wasn't. And the rain definitely impacted. Not to give any excuses on either side, because the rain was there for both teams. But the rain definitely had an impact in this game for both teams, both quarterbacks. Not as many drops as you would have thought for a rainy game like that. Props to the receivers, but definitely hard to throw in that rain.
Yeah, it's tough. Simon Blais had his terrible towel. I don't know if he's a Steelers fan, but he was wiping it down, and Dave too. He just kind of kept it under. Just watching that game was difficult. To play in it and hold the football, I was pleasantly surprised with how many points there were in this game. But a tough loss for 18 now, right? It's not obviously they still have a lot of the season left, but 2-2.
I forgot to speak about it in the respect game, but I saw Simon Chen's name here and it reminded me. He didn't have a big game with Bush Boys here, which is surprising because he seems like a slippery receiver in general. Like, he scored that 45-yard touchdown on a 5-yard hook against KOLB when it was sunny outside. But his little hip moves and everything, you'd think that in the rain he'd be able to score multiple of those. But as you were saying, and looking at the standings, both these teams are sitting in a playoff position right now. Bush Boys comfortably sitting at 4-1. Would you say they're now the team to beat in Division 1?
Yeah.
Not only are they number 1 in your power rankings, but are they the favorites right now? Right now, the season playoffs start tomorrow. Bush Boys enter the playoffs as the 1 seed. Are they the favorites to win it all?
Yep.
I think it's hard to disagree with that.
Look, they have the one loss that was to Outlaws, but they got the revenge, and it's not
that one loss, a 2-point loss.
That too, and there's not many weaknesses on this squad.
Yeah. Are Master Chiefs in trouble?
Very much so.
Shout out to Mike Jazz. Thank you for that popsicle, Mr. Freezy. It was very much appreciated because it was still very hot at that time of the day.
True. Thank you.
Yeah, but you need to put some a little bit more juice in them to get them to your players to get some more wins. I really think it's their defense. Offensively, they could go pound for pound with any team in the division. I truly believe they could score as many points as any team in this division when they have Vinny as quarterback position, of course. But defensively, they gotta muster up a game plan. You don't need that many stops in Division 1 to win a game, right? Because you're essentially scoring 40 points a game. But you need at least 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's... Who calls it? I guess Rob calls DA.
I don't know if it's Rob or Sean, even Mike Jazz.
Imagine from the sideline. I wish I could tell you what it was, because they have the individual players to make plays on any given play. I don't think it's necessarily the play calls either. Look, I'll tell you, when they played man, and it was you know what, we're gonna play we're gonna play man defense, and we don't care if you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they're at their best.
Yeah. Yeah. And looking at the schedule this upcoming week, they got a huge game against A-Team, right? This is a game that Irelanders are going to look at closely, because if Master Chiefs win that game, yes, it helps their cause, but it helps your cause even more, because you'll be tied with A-Team at that point if Master Chiefs do win that game. Did you play A-Team yet?
Twice.
And you guys split?
Split.
Okay, so it'd be like points against that point. Yeah, and then Master Chiefs are also playing Outlaws this upcoming weekend. So 2 huge games for them. Look, if they manage to go 2-0, look, they're sitting at 0-4. We just said they're very much so in trouble, right?
Mm-hmm.
You said it yourself. If they win both their games and Outlaws beat Arnolds again, just a big if. Like, I know I'm not saying that's going to happen, but Master Chiefs will be in a 3-way tie for the last playoff spot. So they could go from being 0-4 to 2-4. Well, they'll be half a game behind, but they have the same amount of wins as the team sitting in third. So they'll go from being like really in trouble to like seeing the light, right? At that point.
And think about it. Their A-Team Master Chiefs game when they played was an overtime thriller.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be A-Team. You know, yes, they're favored going into that game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Master Chiefs win. And Master Chiefs Outlaws 2. Outlaws would have been their, well, obviously for Master Chiefs 2 would be their second game, but Outlaws second game as well for them. They would have just played against us. So, you know, I wouldn't be shocked to see Chiefs go 2-0.
Look, it's tough to go 2-0, especially in Division 1, and it's a big if. And like, if they split, they'll have some hope. But going 2-0 this week is really like, this week 6 is like almost like make it or break it for them if they go 2-0, right? It's like almost like you gotta do everything possible to go 2-0.
Let's say they split 1-5.
It depends who they split against. I'd argue that if they split but they beat A-Team, that's okay. If they split but they lose to A-Team, it doesn't help them all that much, because A-Team gains a victory over them, who they're fighting against, and then Outlaws already like 3 wins more than them. So like that A-Team game is definitely the most important one, and that's gladly it's the first one. So focus on that one first, and one game at a time, and then focus on the Outlaws one.
I think if they lose to A-Team, their season's done.
If they lose to A-Team, beat Outlaws, they'll be 1-5. A-Team will have 3 wins. They'll be 2 games behind. I mean,
A-Team would be 2-0 against them.
Yeah.
It's a playoff game.
Not mathematically.
No.
But yeah, I see what you're saying.
You have to treat it like a playoff game if you're Master Chiefs.
Yeah. All right. Good show.
Yeah. Eh? That kind of flew by.
You want to do something else?
BPs.
BPs?
I already know what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, what division?
3.
Okay. Let me hear it.
Okay. So Div 3 we have a triple header. KLB plays twice.
I believe KLB's in Division 2.
What did I say?
Div 3.
Touched my throat, my bad. Div 2.
Why the throat?
It's something Tommy and I do. I'll explain it off air.
Okay.
Div 2. I was just seeing if you were paying attention. Div 2. We got a triple header.
Mm-hmm.
KLB plays twice. Respect plays twice. Pocket Rocket's the 1. Secure Top Shooter's the 1. We just talked about how tight this div is, how these games are. All 3 games will go to overtime this weekend.
I like that. I love that. Overtime is so exciting.
All 3 of them.
What division would you like for me to do?
You're gonna do Div 4.
Okay, I'll do Div 4. A bunch of games to choose from. I'll go in the schedule tab. Let's take a look. Wow, we got 3 Div 4 games at 9 a.m., 3 Div 4 games at 10:30 a.m. KC Chiefs, coming off a bye, have a doubleheader this week, playing Bear Hood and playing Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
I say in both of their games, all 4 teams, like all 3 teams, in both, like, you get what I'm saying?
Say again?
Okay, in both their games, each team will go for over 40 points a game.
I like that. Those are pretty big games for the standings too.
Yeah. Every game matters going forward. Every game matters at the beginning of the season. Like a loss in week 1 is just like if you miss out the playoffs by 1 game and you went 3-4 and 4-6 would have made you make the playoffs. Any loss would converted to a win would have made you make the playoffs. But,
right.
So yeah, every game is important. Don't wait till that final week when you absolutely need it to lose.
Well said. Well, there's how many weeks this year?
11.
So after this one, we'll be officially past the midway point.
Well, no, we went. We already had 6 weeks.
We already had 6 weeks. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're already there. You go.
Yeah.
We're already officially past the midway point.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah. That's it, folks.
That's it. That's all. That's this. Do we know the? Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Weather.
Nope, but at this point in time, it's gonna change anyway.
Good
It was
call.
supposed to be pouring last Saturday, right? And it was
Yeah.
pretty dry for most of the day. It was supposed to pour all day. We say it often. Hopefully, people that complain are listening to us. If you want us to talk about you, your team, or anything in particular, just let us know. We promise we'll do our best to make sure to talk about it. There's a bunch of games that go on at multiple parks. Unfortunately, Will and I are not everywhere at the same time. We also play ref, and Will needs to get his coffee and food, so he misses a couple of games there. But we'll gladly talk about you more. We know we're trying to cover. We have 61 teams right now in Montreal only. Matt's been doing a great job covering the Brossard podcast. For those unaware, we have a Brossard podcast. Even if you're not playing, it's actually a funny podcast to listen to. It's in French as well. For those,
Yep.
for those who appreciate French podcasts as well. But yeah, we'll talk about you as much as you want us to. Just let us know, right? This player on your team balled out. This I actually remember someone actually told us something that I think I forgot to mention, but that's all right.
It's you live and you learn.
Yeah. So we'll see you Saturday.
Yep.
Playoffs are coming up, so make sure you grind out those games and win those important ones, right?
Hey, every play is important. Every game.
Yeah.
See you Saturday. Be there. Be square.